Have you ever wondered what stops powerful politicians or high-ranking officials from using their influence to launder money or finance illegal activities? It sounds like something out of a spy movie, right? But in the real world of finance, there's a powerful rule designed to do just that. Today, we are diving deep into a topic that is crucial for global financial security, FATF Recommendation 12 and the world of politically exposed persons, or PEPs. Stick around, because understanding this is key to seeing how we fight financial crime at the highest levels. So what exactly is a PEP? The Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, defines a politically exposed person as an individual who is or has been entrusted with a prominent public function. Think heads of state, senior politicians, high-ranking government officials, judicial or military officials, senior executives of state-owned corporations, and important political party officials. It's not just the person themselves either. This definition extends to their immediate family members, spouses, children, siblings, parents, and close associates. These are people who have significant business or personal relationships with the PEP. Now, it is really important to understand this. Being classified as a PEP doesn't automatically mean someone is involved in criminal activity. Not at all. The designation simply recognizes that their position and influence could potentially be abused for illegal purposes like money laundering or terrorist financing. This potential risk is what triggers enhanced scrutiny from financial institutions. Think of it like a security check at the airport. Most people are just regular travelers, but everyone goes through the screening process to catch the very few who might pose a threat. The PEP classification works on a similar principle of risk management. This is where FATF Recommendation 12 comes into play. It's the international standard that sets out the measures financial institutions must take when dealing with PEPs. The goal isn't to deny services to these individuals, but to apply a higher level of due diligence to manage the associated risks effectively. This recommendation is a cornerstone of the global anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing framework, often called AML or CFT. Let's break down what financial institutions, like banks, are required to do under Recommendation 12. First, they need to have appropriate risk management systems in place to determine if a customer, or the beneficial owner of a customer, is a PEP. This is not a simple yes or no question, right? It involves using reliable databases, public information, and internal intelligence to build a clear picture of their clients. This process is known as customer due diligence, or CDD. Once a customer is identified as a PEP, the rules get stricter. This is where enhanced due diligence, or EDD, kicks in. For any new PEP client, the financial institution must obtain approval from its senior management before establishing a business relationship. This isn't a decision for a junior bank teller. It has to go up the chain of command to ensure accountability. Next, the bank must take reasonable measures to establish the source of wealth and source of funds for that PEP. This is a critical step. The source of wealth refers to how the person accumulated their total net worth, their salary, investments, business ventures, inheritance, and so on. The source of funds refers to where the specific money for a particular transaction is coming from. By verifying both, the institution can ensure that the money is legitimate and consistent with the person's known profile. For example, if a mid-level official with a modest salary suddenly wants to deposit millions of dollars, that's a massive red flag. Finally, financial institutions are required to conduct enhanced ongoing monitoring of the business relationship. This isn't a one-time check. They have to continuously scrutinize the transactions and activities in the PEPS account to ensure they remain consistent with what the bank knows about the customer, their business, and their risk profile. Any unusual or suspicious transactions must be identified and reported to the relevant authorities, like the country's Financial Intelligence Unit, or FIU. Now, FATF Recommendation 12 makes a distinction between different types of PEPs. There are domestic PEPs, who hold prominent public functions within a country, and foreign PEPs, who hold such positions in another country. Historically, foreign PEPs have been considered to pose a higher risk. Why? Because they might be trying to move illicit funds out of their home country, away from the scrutiny of their own legal system. Therefore, the requirement for enhanced due diligence is mandatory for all foreign PEPs. For domestic PEPs and individuals entrusted with a prominent function by an international organization, the rules are slightly more flexible. Financial institutions should apply these enhanced measures based on an assessment of the level of risk associated with that specific person. Not all domestic PEPs carry the same level of risk, so a risk-based approach allows banks to focus their resources where the danger is greatest. But what happens when a PEP leaves their public position? Does the risk just vanish overnight? Not necessarily. Recommendation 12 states that the enhanced monitoring requirements should continue for a certain period after a person ceases to be a PEP. The institution must continue to consider the risk they pose and apply enhanced measures until it is satisfied that the person no longer presents a high risk of money laundering or terrorist financing. There's no fixed time limit. It's another judgment call based on risk. For instance, a former head of state might retain significant influence for years after leaving office, while a junior official might not. Implementing these requirements is a huge challenge for financial institutions. First, accurately identifying PEPs is a complex task. There isn't one single global database of all PEPs and their associates. Banks often rely on a combination of commercial databases, public records, and media screening. These databases need to be constantly updated as people move in and out of public roles all the time. False positives, where someone is incorrectly identified as a PEP, can also be a problem, causing inconvenience for innocent customers. Another challenge is balancing compliance with customer experience. Nobody likes being subjected to intense questioning about their finances. For legitimate PEPs, the enhanced due diligence process can feel intrusive. Financial institutions have to handle these interactions with skill and diplomacy, explaining why these measures are necessary without making the customer feel like a suspect. The cost of compliance is also significant. Banks invest heavily in technology, data, and trained personnel to manage their PEP programs effectively. This includes sophisticated software for transaction monitoring and teams of analysts who investigate alerts and file suspicious activity reports. The penalties for non-compliance can be severe, including massive fines and reputational damage, so the investment is a necessary cost of doing business in the global financial system. Let's look at a real-world example to see why this is so important. Think about major corruption scandals you've read about in the news, where leaders of a country embezzled billions of dollars of public funds. How did they move that money? Often, they used the international banking system, setting up shell companies and complex accounts to hide their tracks. They relied on their political status to open these accounts and move vast sums without raising immediate suspicion. Effective implementation of Recommendation 12 is designed to break this cycle. If a bank correctly identifies a foreign politician as a PEP, they would be required to scrutinize the source of their wealth and funds. When that politician tries to deposit millions into an account with no legitimate explanation, the bank's enhanced monitoring should flag it as suspicious. The bank would then be obligated to report it, triggering an investigation that could uncover the corruption and potentially lead to the recovery of stolen assets. This is how the fight against financial crime works in practice, connecting the dots from a bank teller's desk to international law enforcement. So FATF Recommendation 12 is more than just a piece of financial regulation. It's a critical tool in the global fight against corruption, money laundering, and terrorist financing. It helps protect the integrity of the financial system, ensures that public office isn't used for personal enrichment at the expense of citizens, and contributes to global security. By placing a spotlight on the financial activities of those in power, it creates a powerful deterrent. It makes it harder for corrupt officials to enjoy the proceeds of their crimes and helps ensure that our financial institutions are not unwilling accomplices in their schemes. It's a complex and challenging area, but one that is absolutely essential for a fair and stable world. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this deep dive into financial crime prevention interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And let me know in the comments what you think. Is this system strong enough to catch the bad guys? I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next video.